Hey,
Hey,
Tony,
Tony.
it's Saturday. So, as I explained to you yesterday, I was originally going to do this video yesterday, but we have a friend who did a really, really dumb. And I'll get to that in a little bit, but first I have to answer your question of the week, Tony. I have no intentions to play Persona 5 Royal. It doesn't interest me. I'm not a huge fan of the Persona series because it's not something I've ever gotten into. It's not that I dislike it. It's just I'm somewhat ambivalent to it. So now, on to this week, which was initially going to be a fairly regular week of a lot of hiking, ended up being a very irregular week because we had a friend who did a dumb. So, one of our absolute dearest, best friends lives in a neighboring town from us, and him and his household decided that they wanted to tear down a shed. Now, this shed was an eyesore. This shed was in bad shape. Like, it needed to go away. But he didn't really think about how he wanted to do it. And so, 2 days ago, he ended up taking a sledgehammer to the wrong support, and the whole thing fell. It didn't fall just anywhere. It fell onto his neighbor's fence. So, what ended up happening is our friend, bless his loving, loving soul, ended up. Say hi, Taylor.
Keep telling your story. I'm trying to grab the vacuum cleaner. Jesus Christ.
Ended up calling us in a panic the other day saying, "Guys, it's an emergency. I need your help. I need help. I need so much help right now." And so, the past 2 days, we spent going to his house and tearing down, basically fixing a shed and doing our best to fix his neighbor's fence as well. And our friend is a lovely person, but he was not exactly in the best of states during this whole process and was fighting us tooth and nail on every single thing we tried to do. Now, you and I mean, a little less you, but you know that growing up, we did a lot of work for Make Around Camp, including at one point building a shed and tearing down other things as well. Taylor was raised by house flippers. So when her and I got there, we were able to kind of take control, particularly Taylor, because this is what she did for so long, was house flipping. But she was able to kind of take control. And our friend spent the whole day working on it, and very little got done until Taylor and I got there and started just going to town on it. And so that was kind of what we did. That was what we initially did on Friday. On Thursday. Was we ended up basically Amish barning the the fallen parts that were on the neighbor's property to push it up so it wouldn't fall down. But our friend was really concerned that it was going to fall back from a strong gust of wind. It wouldn't, but he was concerned about it. So yesterday, a lot of what we did was mostly what Taylor and I So Thursday was the real big day on the work we did on the shed, because that was the day it fell, and so that was the day we needed to get as much moved as we possibly could off of the neighbor's property. And then yesterday ended up being a lot more of the kind of nitty gritty. Like, we ended up searching for a bunch of nails, trying to get that all taken care of. We tore up some of the walls to make sure that it wouldn't fall, even though it probably wasn't going to in the first place. We really did a lot of work on that. And again, we set up the fencing that the neighbor had. Now the fencing is broken. It's going to need to be replaced. It's going to need about 4 panels need to be replaced. But Taylor and I were able to kind of get there, set it up. And Jay actually did a really great job of helping calm our friend down, because you're the professional in that regard. Psychology. Whereas we ended up talking to our friend about Taylor involving the insurance stuff, me involving some of the legal liabilities, and Jay was there to be, his therapist when he needed it. But it was really exhausting and draining. And the past 2 days have been really, really, really hot and humid. So they're like the exact worst days you would even want to be outside doing that kind of heavy labor. So both days we got home, we were just drenched in sweat, disgusting, mostly from like the shingle bits and things like that and all the dirt. So those are some nice long showers we ended up taking afterwards. But it also took a lot out of us because it was hot, it was humid, it was hard work. But we were able to do a lot to help our friend. And we were able to leave it yesterday in a spot where, like, okay, we feel like we've taken care of the big stuff involving the neighbor, and now our friends can kind of take over from there and do what they need to. They still need to get a dumpster, or like even rent some like trucks to move it to a dump, but that's not really our problem. And one of the people in the house was kind of trying to fight us tooth and nail on that. So we'll see what happens. But all we know is the past couple days were what we did to help a friend, and it was exhausting. So Tony, my question for you is, have there been a time where like you had a friend call you up in a mad fury, needing like immediate help? And if so, what happened? Tony, I'll see you on Tuesday. Later, bro.